you guys? It is Mary.
And
Leave us a like,
subscribe,
share,
and comment
down below you all, because today we are going to be talking about Hillsong, a Megachurch Exposed Part 3, you all.
Yes.
And we are going to be talking about everything from child pedophilia to college and stealing funds from students and just all of the hidden stuff that was going on in the church.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're going to go ahead and get...
One of the things that one of the students who was a member of the Hillsong College, she has stated, usually like when you go to school and you pay your tuition fee in college, usually part of that, housing is part of that, meal plans are part of that. So what happens is the school might take out, especially if someone is not living on campus, the
Right.
school will take, and then also books are part of that. Things that the child actually needs to be in school. So the school will take out the tuition fee, and then there is this balance,
Right.
and that refund goes either to the child's parents or to the child.
Right.
The parents might decide, hey, just send it to my child or send it to me, and then I'll allocate those funds. So students were saying that Hillsong will not do that. They will actually keep everything,
Yeah.
and when she was asking for it, because, this is kind of like the school that she really wanted to be, they are supposed to be this godly school,
Yeah.
religious school. So she really didn't want to, I guess, fight with them or kind of accuse them of like, where my money at,
Yeah.
So, and maybe they were even banking on that. Students not wanting to kind of like have any conflict with them.
Right.
I think last time we spoke about them shaming you, kind of like purity
Yes.
shaming you.
Apparently, they kept a whole record. Like they will kind of determine whether or not you will be able to be on certain projects or events.
Yeah.
Based on your history. And the thing is, they actually come in and like right out the gate, they have you sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement that usually celebrities sign.
I know.
Well, if they have people
I
come
have
to the
never
group,
had a college tell me to sign an NDA.
very red flag-ish.
Yes.
And then on top of that, what they do is they ask you, have you ever done drugs? Have you had sex? How long has this been going on? Have you done it in the past 6 months? Have you done it within a year? And they say that they don't hold it against you, but they actually do.
And the thing is, when you go to these schools, they're supposed to be religious schools. It's kind of like you're going to your church or your mosque, right? And you're feeling like, here is someone who's going to lead me the right way. And you feel comfortable. I can come and tell them all my sins or whatever that you decide are your sins. And you feel as though you're going to have this sympathetic ear.
Yeah.
And then they take all that information only to use it against you by giving you, what are they giving, like a green band or red band to determine whether you're going to either be able to be part of these workshops for others, if you're going to be, I guess, sinless enough
Yeah.
to teach other students or be kind of a mentor to them or not, which I think is awful. Because you go there, you're sitting down, like, it's kind of like when you go to a confessional and you're sitting inside something and you're talking to the priest or something.
Right.
You're confessing and you don't expect them to kind of throw it back in your face.
Right.
You're letting your heart out only for them to come. I can only imagine how those young people, because they're still relatively very young,
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, and having to go through this. It's like you're being... The whole thing of how you felt worst about your sins, you feel worse, even worse.
My issue typically I feel like it's for all religious people, I think it's very important to just realize that when you do go to church or you go to the mosque or whatever, you have the imam, you have the pastor.
Yeah.
Yes, these are people who are teaching about God, but they are just as imperfect and as flawed as you are. Yeah. So you can't really go and put all your stake and be like, let me... they're actually not God. The only person that's perfect is Allah. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't depend on them to guide you, because sometimes they might be going through stuff in their own stuff and they have their own bias. They're human beings. Just because they're on a pulpit preaching doesn't mean that they're any different from you or me. So really, I mean, yes, sometimes I listen to imams or whatever for inspiration, but me to say I'm going to sit down there and go tell you everything that's going on and rest in you, that's what I have my Father in heaven for.
Yeah.
That's what I have him for.
Exactly.
So I think that's also wrong. You know, and then also the whole thing about let me tell you about all my sins and stuff. Yeah. No, God knows all my sins.
And a lot of times women get into that, and I think it's because a lot of times
the culture,
the women
shame.
are the ones who are shamed for, you know, having sex before marriage. The guys are like, yay, how many have you had?
And I mean, even in like
the women, it's different. And I think it happens more with women, us having this thing of trying to have a savior, you know, and we try to do that with the men too. We find some nice guy, but I don't believe in nice guys, but we find some nice guy who goes around saying he's a nice guy, and you're like, oh, you know, he's going to be my savior, and I'm going to tell him all my business, and you know, and I did this, and this guy treated me like this, all for him to use it against you, which is usually what they end up doing.
But even the way that sometimes kids are raised, like, you know, when you have a son and a daughter, you always tell the daughter, don't be with men. But then you go and you tell your son, get it out your system.
Yeah.
But then you forget that you're telling your son to get it out of his system.
For me, it was the same for her and for her brother.
But the thing is, you're telling your son, go get it out of your system. Yeah. Don't you think that other people are telling their sons the same thing? And then one day it's going to be somebody else's son coming to your daughter.
It'll be your daughter.
All of that comes full circle. So all of that, I think, is debauchery. I'm happy that my mom, she raised me and my brother saying, you both should not be having sex till marriage, and that you both also should, you know, wait on your person and stuff. It should not be go sell your soak your loins or whatever, and you stay your weight.
You're creating soul ties. You're taking away from your energy flow.
That's like Diddy talking about how I don't want
vibration. Yeah. You know, when you do that, so it's kind of like. But, you know, it happens a lot with women.
And also, it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys know who Diddy is, but he's a rapper or whatever and stuff. You know, he is here having multiple kids. This man's about 60 years old now. And basically, I remember he was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he was talking about how, you know, my girls, they better not be dating. But then you're high-fiving your son this past New Year's Day talking about, I'm going to have myself some more children. And then your son's clapping and applauding you. Like, I mean, all that comes back full circle. So I feel like that's also why
more kids with no commitment to them while you're with some other woman, but this other woman is birthing your child, like, just ridiculous.
Yeah, so all of that, I feel like that's why women, one, are always more inclined to go and confess sins. But the thing is, it's only recently men have started being shamed into having multiple baby mothers. Yeah. But that has not been the case for many, many years.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I feel like that's why that even started. But I feel like it's a shame, because the thing is, you're here talking about sex and drugs and stuff, but your daddy, what was that man's name?
Oh yeah,
Brian's daddy.
The actual founder of
the actual founder, Frank Thompson, I think. Frank Houston.
Yeah.
His Brian Houston's daddy apparently was having sex with boys and girls as young as 5.
That's sexual assault.
Yes.
He was raping them.
Yes. Why did I say that?
Because they did not consent.
No.
And they did not even understand what was happening to them.
Yeah.
And that is rape. Of a minor. Rape. That is pedophilia.
Yeah.
And
just sick.
Yeah, and that's what the father did. He started this guy when he was very young.
The guy was Brett.
And he started with when he was very young. When he went to tell his mom told him, "You don't be
the mom says that." Was it? I think the mom had said that. Told his mom. The mom said, "You don't want to be responsible for getting people out of the church and turning them to hell." Yeah. So if I were you, I wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah. And she didn't really think about
that's that guilt tripping. Yeah.
In that sense, and then also, you know, doesn't want to lose probably her status in the church or whatever.
My thing is that's an issue, because the thing is, You can't just cover stuff up.
No.
Stuff up. That's not
It's gonna happen
godly. You're
to someone
here
else's
covering
son.
up Satan's stuff. Like people turning away from the church, they should turn away from the church. The head of the church is like a mother effing pedophile.
I know.
So you don't want people who are genuinely trying to connect with God having to connect with him through somebody who is an agent of Satan.
Yeah.
So you're also doing them a disservice as well. You know what I'm saying?
And also other people's children. And then you're pretty much telling your son
He
is that
doesn't matter.
It is okay for him to do it again to you.
Yeah.
And it's okay for you to remain silent. And this guy continued.
Yeah,
doing
I
that
think he
to
said
him.
for until he was had gotten older, he had been continuing to do
It
it.
was so sad. I think finally he reported, right?
Yeah,
Or the mom reported to a senior member finally.
I can't remember what
And
it
that
was.
senior member, it got to Frank. So Frank decided to meet him.
Well, he called him. He actually called him,
Called
said,
him.
"Please come meet me here," or whatever
At
stuff
some
like that, because I
McDonald's.
want to handle this before I go to heaven or hell, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to fix this or whatever stuff.
Yeah.
Meet him at McDonald's. Tells him write down I think he wrote down he'll pay him $10,000 on a napkin.
Yeah, wrote it down to him to show it to him. This is what I'm going to pay to you for whatever problems I've had, kind of like
Yeah.
trying to make up for what I did to you.
And apparently Brian Houston knew all about it because he said,
About
call
the
me
meeting.
or Brian and we will handle the money. Anything you need, let us know. So you knew that your dad was a sick mother effer, and you were there covering it. That's my issue. People using God for your satanic
It
acts
is
in
satanic.
life.
It is
Very
satanic.
satanic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just sick.
Yeah.
It's actually very, very sick.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did end up agreeing to it because he said, I just wanted this all to be over and stuff like that. He said he was even shaking like a leaf when he went to go meet him. So just the trauma of all that,
Yeah.
even as a grown man, because when stuff happens to you as a little kid, it has like a lasting effect on you
It
for
kind of
sure.
arrests you there.
Yeah.
In terms of your development, your emotional development, social development, and that's why he was still shaking, probably like that little boy who was being raped by this man.
I know. That's just
you know.
nasty.
And then later on, when they come to find out that they were, I don't know how many men had he raped?
And they
Boys
said
and
8
men?
or 10 people had came forward in 1965 to 1977.
Like, it's just awful. You just imagine how many more
Yeah.
that happened to. This is the ones that we know, but how many more did this happen to people who did not say anything, and kept it to themselves. So it was just really, really.
And they never paid him the money. Apparently he had ended up dying in 2004 or whatever, but when the man came out again once he had died to talk about it or whatever, Brian Houston now had to come forward because it's a crime in Australia to withhold information about a crime that you know about.
Exactly.
So I think he was charged with that or whatever, and he had to talk about it. He actually resigned from the church
Yeah.
and stuff.
And that
He
was
didn't let
Brian
them know.
Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the stuff came out about his dad in 1999, they actually did stop him from preaching, kind of put him on some kind of suspension for like a few years, but then he came back. We
And
saw
he
him
started-
preaching in 2004. He died in 2004, but earlier in 2004, he had this sermon.
Oh yes, the
That
thing that he
he-
was preaching, and that he died like 6 months later.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have the nerve to come back out here and preach
But
after
the
everything you've
stuff
done.
that he was saying.
He was talking about little boys and
yeah.
how they're so nice, big and strong and
Yeah.
happy. It
Like
was
and
literally
handsome. He was talking about little boys and how they look.
in
And
church.
the church was laughing, but he kept on going so far that it seemed as though the church, it was almost as if they, are we still talking about how they look? Am I laughing? Like, what's going on? So that stuff had not been, whatever suspension he was put on, when you do something so satanic, I don't think it ever leaves you. I don't think so. I don't think you can, rehabilitate a pedophile. I don't think so.
No, because you really have gone so low.
Like some really crazy motherfucker to abuse children, rape kids. I don't think you gotta be really, really low down monster to do stuff like that. And I do not believe these monsters can be rehabilitated. They need to be castrated. and locked up for life.
And my thing is,
And
you
I think
still have
when
those
that punishment
memories.
becomes like that, then you will see people stop pedophilia.
Yeah, I mean, in some countries, if you steal something, they cut your hand off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think punishments
Which is
have
great.
to. I think
Because
so.
now you go to those countries, you can put $1 million on the floor and walk away, and tomorrow they'll be right back there.
And you know what I think also? I personally think there's not harsh punishments enough. I mean, but I can understand why they don't do that in America because of the system itself. Sometimes they lock people up when they're not guilty. But I think when it's a case where it's guilty, the person has been caught, you know for sure. I think rapists, pedophiles should be castrated.
Yeah.
Because someone else is castrated for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah,
I think they should
absolutely.
not have genitals. They don't deserve genitals.
Yeah, they don't.
So no, I do
Obviously, you
think
don't know what to use it for,
no. Sick.
but for demonic stuff. So
Just sick.
you
I
don't
do
need it.
I
You can do
strongly
without
believe
it.
there needs to be harsher punishments
Yeah.
for people
And
that
that will be part of the rehabilitation. You want to rehabilitate them back into society, let them be castrated. So
you know he never went back there. But yeah, so that was it he had to be was it persecuted? I believe Brian. So he had to step away from the church or whatever and stuff, and he was gone for a while. But apparently he came back and started
and then
preaching.
maybe cut off their tongues too. Now you can rehabilitate them back into society. Both those things. No genital, no tongue.
Yeah, you don't deserve it. Just sick.
It is very sick.
Yeah, but was it?
But yeah, so Brian was out of the church.
October 5th, 2021, Brian was charged with concealing child sex abuse, and he faced up to 5 years in prison. He did plead not guilty, but January 30th, 2022, he did step down temporarily to defend the charges against him.
Right.
And then March 23rd, 2022, he resigned after an internal injury revealed more violations of church's code of conduct.
On his part.
Yeah.
On Brian's part.
Yeah, so
I think it's the next episode we talk about
what he was doing. But yeah, so this episode was really a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like when the founder is doing that, and then Brian
And then
Houston,
later the
you
son
know
is doing
about it.
Yeah, you know about
The
that.
son knows about it, and then you go out of your way to blame him. And then you tell the boy, the 36-year-old man, your 7-year-old self tempted my daddy.
I forgot about that.
That's...
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a new.
That is you, a 7-year-old who's living his life,
Yeah.
and attempted an old
Tempting.
man, a
Yeah.
nasty wrinkle. I have no words. I actually have no words.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was just very, very sick.
It was.
But that
It
was
very
part
sad.
3. I think there's supposed to be a part 5 coming out, but we will review parts 4 as well.
Yeah.
Part 4 was really I think about Brian and all the things that he was doing.
Yeah. Because we've talked about Carl Lentz, which was earlier.
Yes.
And
And
he's out.
I like how they just broke it down. They kind of went from the most popular guy to really the roots
Getting
of the
yes,
church.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And how
yes.
that thing, I like how they did the documentary.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, y'all, it's married. Be much a like,
subscribe,
share,
and comment
down below.
Bye.
Bye.